Okay, today we are going to make something very, very different with this beautiful, beautiful apple. Hey, this is Billy and Michelle at Perma Pastures Farm. Okay, so you've seen us make a number of things with apples. Of course, my favorite. And today we have, I think we got what did we get, a peck of these, a half bushel of these Evercrisps. And folks, I'm telling you, I've never had one before until recently, and these by far are my favorite apple. These guys keep for a really long time. They're sweet, they got just the right amount of tartness, all the wonderful things I want in an apple. Yeah, I'm something of an apple connoisseur. Okay, so today we're gonna do a couple of things. We're gonna dry some of these apples, so then we have cores left over, and we're going to have something to do with them, right? We just, remember, this is permaculture. We don't waste anything. So we're going to take those cores, we're going to make apple cider vinegar, and then we're going to take these apples, we're going to slice them up, put them in the dehydrator, and unbelievable. Once again, like in the middle of a York peppermint patty commercial when you eat these dried apples. Because unlike the ones you get in the store, they haven't been sitting on the shelf for what, 9 to 12 months. So when you get them fresh like this, if you're in a place where you can get them fresh, there's so many wonderful things you can do. Okay, so I'm going to cut them up. We already have a bowl of them right here. And what are we going to do with those, honey?
We're going to add the cores to the jar, and then we're going to cover all of the apples with sugar water. It's a tablespoon of sugar per cup of water, and we're going to add it and cover the apple scraps.
Okay. So with that said, I'm going to commence chopping up these apples, and we'll get this thing filled up, and we'll put these also on the dehydrator.
We're going to add our apple cores to our jar, and then we're going to completely cover the apples with sugar water, which is a tablespoon of sugar for every cup of water.
Okay, so we got this jar filled up with apples, or at least most of the way. And so like Michelle said a minute ago, for every cup or 8 ounces of water you put in it, you're going to need a tablespoon of sugar. And what kind of sugar is that? Is that just regular?
Just organic cane sugar.
Okay.
And it's also distilled water.
Okay, that's right. Distilled water, because we don't just put anything in these temples. Anyway. It's just easier to go ahead and fill up a quart jar unless you want to just go through cup by cup. So you stick the sugar in there, dissolve it, and then we'll put it in as we go. All right, so what we got next is just use some regular good old-fashioned Brags, and you're going to want to shake it up, right? Because what is it you want to add to this?
So this says it's with the mother, so we want some of that as a starter for this apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, so how much are you putting in there?
About a tablespoon, maybe more.
All right, cool. Now that that's all done, we're going to take this jar. Now, it's a smaller jar. You can use something else. I mean, I guess if you want to fill a little sack with some rocks, you can put that down in there. But,
or like weights, fermentation weights.
Right, so you're going to want to have some way to weigh it down. Well, in this smaller jar, we have, what is this? I got some salt in there, some real fine salt, and then of course it has a lid that's not going to leak the salt through. So we're going to use this and kind of shove it down in there.
Because you just want to hold the apples below the water so they don't get all moldy on top. Okay, so we're going to cover this with a coffee filter so it'll keep anything from falling in it, and it will also allow it to breathe a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to write the date on this piece of tape, the day that we started, and we're going to let it sit for 3 weeks. And then we're going to strain out the apples and put it in the final container, and then we're going to let it sit for another 3 weeks. And then it'll be done.
All right, so with that said, let's go on. We got another batch of apples we've already put out there, so let's check them out and see what's up. All right, so we got the apple cider vinegars. Just, you know, it's a waiting game, no rush on that. Now, these are the apples. Now, these were actually tart apples, but they were picked fresh. Like I said, very, very different from the stuff you get in the grocery store. So Michelle and my mother-in-law, they went ahead and dried them out, and this is what they look like. I mean, I think they filled up 2-gallon jugs with these. And if you know me, and you know how much I love apples, I mean, I love everything apples. Apple sauce, apple butter, apple sausage, apple cake, dried apples. All kinds of apples. I love them in a box. I love them with a fox, in a house with a mouse. It doesn't matter. I love apples because they are prospering at a time of year when everything else is dying back. So this is your natural sweetness for this time of year. I just think they're amazing because they go so well with things that are savory, and they also go well with things that are sweet. So apples, I mean, I guess I couldn't wax any more philosophically about them. So the way I like to do mine, and I've been doing them this way for years, is if everybody has their own way of doing it, but I like mine to I like them to snap. Just like I like my beef jerky, and that's a whole nother story when I get to making jerky. You take note, in the store, you can't find jerky that you got a bite on anymore. It's all chewy. It's all soft. I don't dig soft jerky, just like I don't dig soft apples, at least not when they're dried. But this one this is something we've never done before. I thought I've dried everything, but my friends over at the Black Pack Homestead with Chris and Morella, I saw them the other day, and they were drying out watermelon. Now, I never even heard of that, so we tried it, and oh my goodness. And it's so sweet, it'll blow your mind, but I mean, that watermelon is on another level. So thanks, Chris and Morella, for the wonderful idea. That's definitely going to be something in the wheelhouse. Now that I'm done stuffing my face with dried apples and dried watermelon, and as you can see, the watermelon ain't making a cut. I mean, we've been wiping it out. I think William's been eating it every day. But these apples, it's so cool, all the wonderful things you can do with them if you decide to reconstitute them. Apples are one of my favorites. Blueberries first, and I think apples second. So I hope we've given you some great ideas of what you can do with apples. And also want to give a shout out to Chris and Morella at the Black Pack Homestead, say that 10 times, for dehydrating watermelon. It's a fantastic idea, and we got more out there right now that's drying as we speak. So remember, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when we got new videos out there. Until next time, this is Billy, the Permaculture Pimp Daddy, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is my passion, because it really, really is.